Good afternoon, ma'am, and good afternoon, classmate. Today we will discussing Chapter 8, User Interface Design. Is design focused on creating user-friendly, visually appealing, and efficient interface that connect user with digital system. This chapter covers key principles, components, and process involved in designing interface that enhance usability, accessibility, and overall user experience. Understanding user interface design is essential for developing effective and engaging digital products. User interface is a computer system and consists of hardware, software, screen, menus, function, and output. User can design their own output. Is this system maintain data and still allow you to view, sort, filter, and examine data, which a user can print, view, or save. It's allow user to customize and manage output, such as viewing, sorting, filtering, printing, or saving data, while the system maintains the underlying information. User interface. The customer might be an individual user or community of users, such as department, can be meet the screen-generated data, which a user can print or view or save. The user interface serves individual user or group, providing screen-generated data that can be viewed, print, or saved. This Figure 8.1 explains that the figure highlight Apple's commitment to design elegant and user-friendly interface. It showcases a promotion image for designing apps and gaming optimized for iPhone device, like the iPhone XS, XS Max, and XR. Apple provide resources such as video, guidelines, and tools to help developers create seamless, high-quality user interface, reinforcing its reputation as a leader in UI design. Introducing the Graphical User Interface or GUI, complete with the mouse and screen icons. In a user-centered system, the distinction blur between input and output. The graphical user interface uses visual elements like icon and mouse for easier interaction. In user-centered system, input and output blend together, making the experience more seamless and intuitive.
Human-computer interaction. A user interface is based on basic principles of human-computer interaction or HCI. A transparent interface does not distract the user and calls no attention to itself. A human-computer interaction or HCI is all about how people interact with computers. A big part of this is the user interface, what the user sees and uses. A good interface should feel natural and easy, not distracting. It should help the user focus on their task, not in figuring out how to use the system. A human-computer interaction is essential to employee productivity. Whether the work is done in a traditional office settings or on a construction site like the one shown in this figure. A system analyst designs user interfaces for in-house developed software and customized. As a system analyst, part of the job is designing user interfaces that are helpful, simple, and meet the needs of the user and the business. 7 Habits of Successful Interface Designers. Successful interface designers understand the business. The system supports individual, departmental, and enterprise goals. A good starting point might be to analyze a functional decomposition diagram or FDD. Understanding the business. Before designing anything, you need to understand how the system supports the goals of the company or organization. Using tools like the functional decomposition diagram or FDD helps break things down clearly.
7 Habits of a Successful Interface Designer. Maximize graphical effectiveness. Study shows that people learn better visually. A well-designed interface can help users learn a new system rapidly and be more productive. User interface design principle, some of the 7 habits of successful interface designer, and people learn better visually because using graphics and visual elements, the icon, layout, chart help users understand system faster. A well-designed interface or clear, organized visual improve learning speed and user productivity.
Think like a user. A system analyst should have understand user experience, knowledge, and easy to follow skill levels. Input processes should be with intuitive and forgiving of errors. This habit reminds interface designers and system analysts that they should see the system from the other's point of view, not just from technical or developer's perspective. Some might be beginners while others might be experienced, so the design should be simple, clear, suitable for all levels of users. Intuitive means users should be able to guess what to do without reading long instructions. Forgiving of errors means that if a user makes a mistake, like clicking the wrong button, the system should help them recover easily instead of crashing or giving confusing error message. Imagine an online form a user forgot to fill in one required field. Instead of showing a scary red error page, the system gently highlights the missing field with a message like, "Oops, please enter your email address before continuing." That's thinking like a user, supportive, friendly, and helpful.
I'm John Lorenzo Patricio. My report is all about user interface. So, focus on usability. The user interface should include all tasks, commands, and communication between users and the information system. So, dapat daw po kasama sa interface ng user ang lahat ng gawain, utos, at komunikasyon sa pagitan ng mga users and the information system po. So, dito sa pictures po, pinapakita ang student registration system. So, a user po can click an option to see the lower level sections and menu choices. So, dito po sa invite feedback, even after the system is operational, it is important to monitor system usage and solicit user suggestion. So, sabi po dito, kahit operational na ang system, mahalaga pa rin daw po itong i-monitor ang paggamit nito at humingin daw po ng mga suggestion mula po sa mga user. The analyst can determine if system features are being used as intended by observing and surviving users. So, maaari daw pong matukoy ng analyst kung ang mga feature daw po ng system ay ginagamit sa tamang paraan sa pamamagitan daw po ng panonood at pagsasurvey sa mga user. So, dito po sa document everything, all screen design should be documented for later use by programmers. User-approved sketches and storyboards also can be used to document the user interface. So, lahat daw po ng disenyo ng screen ay dapat daw po i-document para daw po magamit ng mga programming sa hinaharap daw po. So, maaaring gamitin ang mga sketch po at storyboards ng mga user upang i-dokumento po ang interface ng user.
Hello ma'am, I'm Jana Silanyog and I will discussing about the source document and form design. So, source document and form design is a crucial component of an effective information system. So, it refers to how the data is collected and entered into a system. So, often beginning with a source document, whether it's paper-based or it's digital. So, no matter how data enters an information system. So, whether it's through manual forms, automated scanners, or in online input. So, the method itself is not as important as the accuracy of the data being captured. Only as good as the quality of the input. So, the effectiveness of an information system heavily depends on the quality of its input. So in other words, even the most advanced system cannot produce useful result if the data feed into it is inaccurate, incomplete, or outdated. As familiar to IT professionals. So, the idea that systems rely on quality input is widely understood by IT professionals. So, it's a foundational principle in a system design and management. Is when the data is entered. So, the point at which the data is entered into the system is critical because when the quality of input is determined, which in turn affects all the subsequent processes in the system. Accuracy and timelines of input data. So for an information system to function efficiently, accuracy and timelines of input data are essential. So its late or incorrect data can lead to poor decision making and operational issues. Paperless office has never been realized. So although the concept of completely paperless office has been discussed for decades, so if it has not been fully realized, many organizations still rely on physical documents for input and record keeping. A source document collects input data. So a source document is used to collect the input data because that is the raw information that will be entered into an information. For examples, the included invoices, the purchases orders, or online registration forms. Triggers or authorizes an input action. So in addition to gathering data, a source document triggers or authorizes an input. So for instance, a signed form may give permissions to process a transaction or begin a specific task in a system. During the input design stage, so source document design is an important during the input stage of system development. So this stage focuses on how the data is collected, format, and entered to ensure the accuracy and ease of use. So, source documents generally are paper-based but also can be provided online. So, while source documents have traditionally been paper-based, so they are now often provided online. So, for example, the digital forms, the web-based applications, and mobile app forms. Consider a time when it was a struggle to complete a poorly designed form. So, maybe it lacked instruction or didn't provide enough space of this. So, this shows how frustrating and error-prone poor design can be. So, I will design form makes data entry faster, clearer, and less prone to mistakes. Using blank lines or boxes and descriptive captions. So, our design form should include blank lines or boxes where users can enter the data along with the descriptive captions. So, that clearly explain what information is required. So, it helps prevent confusion and ensures that users provide the correct data. Be sure to include an option for any input that does not match a specific checkbox. So, it's important to include another option or a space for custom input when using checkboxes because it giving users the flexibility to provide accurate answers. So, the placement of information on a form also is important because the placement of fields and instruction on a form place is a big role in usability. So, information should be arranged logically so users can follow the flow without getting lost or skipping essential fields. Typically include most shown in figure the zone 8 to 13. So in professional form design, forms are often structured into specific zones like headers, instructions, and the data entry sections and the footers. Good form layout makes the form easy to complete and provide enough space. So a good layout makes the form easy to understand and complete. So it also provides enough space for users to enter the information clearly and avoiding overcrowding or confusion.
Source document and form design. The placement of information on a form also is important. The heading zone usually contains the company name or logo and the title and number of the form. The instruction zone contains instructions for completing the form. The main part of the form, called the body zone, usually takes up at least half of the space on the form and contains captions and areas for entering variable data. Printed output. Before designing printed output, there are several questions to consider. So, bago daw po mag-print ng output, may mga kailangang tanungin for that output. So, why is this being delivered as printed output rather than screen-based information? May mga information po tayo, may mga outputs tayo that kinukonsider natin na gawing screen-based information na lang rather than printed output because of some confidentialities, and may mga times din na it's hard to really recognize a output if it is printed. So, who wants the information? Why is it needed? And how will it be used? So, sino nga ba ang mga sino ang mga nangangailangan nitong printed output information na ito? Bakit ito kailangan? And paano ito kakailanganin? So, will the printed output be designed for a specific device? So, may mga need po tayo sa specific device na printed talaga as in yung hands-on mo siyang makikita rather than screen-based information.
Report design. Although many organizations strive to reduce the flow of papers and printed reports, few frames have been able to eliminate printed output totally. Printed reports are convenient and even necessary in some situations. Screen output and then printed information they needed from a discussion or business meeting.
Hi everyone, for today's presentation, we'll be talking about guidelines for user interface design. This topic is important because even if a system has advanced features, it won't be useful if users don't understand how to use it or don't find it helpful. That's why designing a good user interface is a big part of making any system effective and user-friendly. According to our preference, a system might have advanced technology and powerful features, but the real test is whether users like it and feel like that it meets their needs. What follows is a set of general guidelines for successful user interface design. Although there's no fixed or standard approach, these guidelines can be a good starting point for traditional systems development. So basically, kahit gaano pa ka-high-tech or powerful yung system, kung hindi siya user-friendly, parang useless din. Kasi at the end of the day, yung users pa rin yung gagamit ng system. So dapat madali siyang gamitin at hindi nakakalito. Kapag maayos yung interface, mas mabilis magtrabaho yung users, mas magiging productive sila. Pero kapag sobrang daming clicks, ang gulo ng menu, or hindi clear yung kung saan pupunta, nakakabagal talaga yan sa work. User productivity. The interface is where a user interacts with the system, so it can have a dramatic effect on productivity. If the interface empowers a user and enables him or her to handle more complex tasks, the user becomes more productive. Conversely, if the interface is difficult to work with, productivity declines. User interface design plays a big role in how efficient and comfortable users are when using a system. Kahit gaano pa ka-advance ang system, kung hindi ito madaling gamitin o hindi ito tugma sa pangangailangan ng mga gumagamit, hindi ito magiging epektibo. Isa sa mga mahalagang layunin ng interface design ay user productivity, o ang kakayahan ng user na makagawa ng mas maraming gawain sa mas madaling paraan. Ang maganda at maayos na interface ay nakatutulong para mapabilis ang trabaho, habang ang magulo o mahirap intindihing interface ay nakakabagal sa user. Narito ang ilang guidelines na makakatulong mapataas ang productivity ng user. Number 1. Organize tasks, commands, and functions in a group that resemble actual business operations. Group functions and submenu items in a multi-level menu hierarchy or tree that is logical and reflects how users and typically perform the tasks. Dapat nakagrupo ang mga gawain ayon sa kung paano talaga sila na ginagawa sa isang negosyo. Halimbawa, kung may mga steps ang isang proseso, ilagay ito sa hierarchy o tree na madaling sundan ng user. Number 2. Create alphabetical menu lists or place the selections used frequently at the top of the menu list. No universally accepted approach to menu item placement exists. Gumamit ng alphabetical lists o ilagay ang madalas gamitin sa itaas ng menu para hindi mahirapan ng users sa paghahanap ng kailangan nila. Maaaring ayusin ang menu ayon sa alphabet o sa kung ano ang ginagamit. Number 3. Provide shortcuts for experienced users so they can avoid multiple menu levels. Shortcut keys can be created using hotkeys that allow a user to maglagay ng shortcuts para sa mga advanced users. Para hindi sila laging dadaan sa maraming menus, pwedeng gumamit ng hotkeys or shortcut keys, mas mapabilis nito ang kanilang trabaho. 4. Use default values if the majority of values in a field are the same. For example, if 90% of the firm's customers live in Albuquerque, use Albuquerque as the default value in the King City field. Gumamit ng default keys kung karamihan sa users ay pumipili ng parehong value, halimbawa parehong city, pwedeng iset iyon bilang default. Sa ganitong paraan, hindi na kailangang ulit-ulitin ang pag-input ng parehong data. 5. Use a duplicate value function that enables user to insert the value from the same field in the previous record but allow users to turn this feature on or off as they prefer. Number 5. Use a duplicate value function. Ibig sabihin kung yung previous field may value na pwede na lang i-copy automatically sa next record, like kung same info lang naman pero syempre optional to. Dapat may choice si user kung gusto niya i-turn on or off yung feature. 6. Provide a fast find feature that displays a list of possible values as soon as users enter the first few letters. Sa number 6, maglagay ng fast find features. Ito yung tipong habang nagtatype pa lang si user ng ilang letters, lumalabas na agad yung possible options. Parang auto-suggest. Super helpful to lalo na kapag kung mahaba ang listahan ng items. 7. If available, consider a natural language feature that allows user to type commands or requests in normal text phrases. Sa number 7 naman, kung possible gamitin yung natural language feature. Ito yung parang pwede kang mag-type ng command in plain English or Tagalog like, show me all orders today, tapos magre-respond si system. Super convenient to, especially for users na ayaw ng complicated menus. So ayun, simple lang. Ang goal talaga is padaliin yung buhay ng users para mas mabilis at efficient sila magtrabaho. Yun yung essence ng good UI design, na mag-improve yung productivity ng mga tao. So, now let's look at an example ng simple menu system. Ito yung sample menu para sa isang customer order tracking system. Makikita natin dito na divided into categories. May options for customers, orders, and products. Under each category, merong specific actions like add, update, delete, or cancel. Ganito dapat ang layout ng UI, simple organized, at madaling intindihin ng user. Kapag ganito ka-clear ang structure, mas mabilis mag-navigate ang user at mas less chance ng error. So that's all. Thank you for listening.
Next is provide users with help and feedback. This is one of the most important guidelines because it has a high impact on users. First is ensure that help is always available on demand. Help screens should provide information about menu choices, procedures, shortcuts, and errors. So, in short, users should never feel lost. They should be able to get help anytime. Second is provide users selected help and context-sensitive help. User-selected help displays information when the user requests it by making appropriate choices through the menus and submenus. The user eventually reaches a screen with the desired information. So users should be able to ask for help when they want. The system should offer the right help based on where they are or what they are doing. This is called context sensitive. This is called context sensitive help. In short, let the user decide what help they want and guide them to the right info step by step. Next is number 3. Provide a direct route for users to return to the point from where help was requested. The title every help screen to identify the topic and keep help text simple and concise. So after reading help, users should be able to go back to what they were doing without getting lost. Each help screen should have a clear title and easy to read content. In short, don't confuse users. Keep help content short and simple, and make it easy to return to the main task. Good help and feedback makes users feel confident and supported. It saves time and reduces frustration. The next slide is additional ways to make sure users feel supported when using a system, website, or app. It includes contact information such as a telephone extension or email address. If a department or help desk is responsible for assisting users, require users confirmation before data deletion. Are you sure? And provide a method or recovering data that is deleted inadvertently. Provide an undo key or a menu choice that allows the user to undo the result of the most recent command or action. When a user entered command contains an error, highlight the erroneous part and allow the user to make the correction without retyping the entire command. Use hypertext links to assist users as they navigate help topics. Display messages at a logical place on the screen and be consistent. Alert users to length, processing times, or delays. Give users an on-screen progress report, especially if the delay is length. Thank you.
Technology issues have an output technology, although business information systems still provide most output as screen displays and printed matters. Technology is having an enormous impact on how people communicate and obtain information. And we have email. Email is an essential means of internal and external business communication. And we have blogs. Blogs is the web-based blogs. Called blogs are another form of web-based output. Blogs are useful for posting news, reviewing current events, and promoting products. And we have instant messaging. This popular form of communication is another way for individuals and companies to communicate effectively over the internet. Although some users feel that it can be distraction, others like the constant flow of communication, especially as a team member in a collaborative situation. And we have wireless devices. Messages and data can be transmitted to a wide array of mobile devices, including tablet computers, smartphones, and similar wireless products that combine portable computing power, multimedia capability, and internet access. And we have digital audio, images, and video. Sounds, images, and video clips can be captured, stored in digital format, and transmitted as output to users who can reproduce the content.
Security and control issue. A company must be everything in its power to protect its data. This includes not only the firm's own information but that of its customer, employees, and supplier. Output security and control. Output must be accurate, complete, current, and secured. Input security and control. Input control includes the necessary measure to ensure that input data is correct, complete, and secure. Security and control issue in data management. A company's responsibility extends to protect the data on its customer, employees, and supplier. Output security and control requires that output data be accurate, complete, current, and secure. Accurate, free from the errors. Complete, contains all necessary information, current, up to date, and secured, protect from unauthorized access. Input security and control measure to ensure input data is correct, complete, and secure. Correct, accurate, and error-free. Complete, contains all required information. And secured, protect from unauthorized access. Emerging trends. Modular design. In modular design, individual components called modules are created that connect to higher level program or process. Modular design. This approach involves creating individual components called modules that can be connected to form a large program or process. Responsive web design relies on a number of underlying technologies including CSS3, flexible images, and fluid grades. This technique ensures websites adapt seamless to different screen size and device. It relies on technologies like CSS3, flexible images, and fluid grades to achieve this responsiveness. Prototyping produce an early rapidly constructed working version of proposed information system called a prototype. System prototyping produce a full-figure working model and information system. These methods create fully functional model of the entire information system. The process typically involves planning, analyze, and design. Design prototyping. System analysis also use prototyping to verify user requirements, after which the prototype is discarded and implementation contains is called design prototyping or through-wave prototyping.